As a Senior Cybersecurity Advisor at Rapid7, we provide security products and services to over 11,000 customers. So our Security Operations Center sees a whole lot of different threats. And today I'm going to share what is probably the most common and effective threat that's happening right now. And the reason it's so effective is because it tricks users into executing the malicious commands themselves by resembling a common security control we're all used to seeing, CAPTCHAs. We all know CAPTCHAs, maybe not by that name, but you know when you're on a website and it suddenly says, prove you're not a robot, maybe asking you to select images with a bicycle on it, typing in some crooked characters, or ticking a box. And that's because computer programs are not typically designed to interpret images or solve puzzles. So imagine it simply asks you to press a few keys on your keyboard. Well, that's all that's required to kick off this attack. So how does this work? Well, going to a website with a fake CAPTCHA, for those on a Windows machine, it simply asks you to press a set of buttons, which will open a command box, and then copy paste, which we know as Control-V, pasting this command and executing the payload. And there's a few variations of what this can do, but we'll go through details of this payload. One of them is called Lumma Stealer, and I'll put a few more in the description for reading, and we'll go through the flow here. So a user is going to a website that's controlled by an attacker and it has this image on it. It also has a piece of code in the background of this website that copies a command to your keyboard. So Control-C, it goes to a place called the clipboard. It's putting this command in that. So when you open this WinRun, so WR, the WinRun, when that opens, it prompts this box. You press Control-V, pastes that in, and you enter. It runs that command. So what happens here is this actually runs a Windows tool, MSHTA. So it's a legacy piece of tool. It's native to Windows, it's inbuilt, and actually downloads this file from a remote server that's controlled by attackers. And this tool, because it's a native Windows tool, it can bypass defenses this way. This HTA file, it basically has further commands in it to say, download some more stuff, run some more things here. It will connect to another remote server, maybe the same one, maybe a different one, and starting to get more instructions. And the reason it's going through and doing this iteratively and in stages is, again, minimizing the chances of detection and adding some of those defense evasion capabilities, turning off a thing here, adding a thing there. But eventually, the ultimate thing is downloading and running a stealer, which, as the name suggests, steals information. So particularly the Lumma variant is primarily targeting cryptocurrency wallets and multi-factor authentication browser extensions. So it's looking for your passwords, looking for anything that might have some cryptocurrency in it, or any just sensitive information that's on your computer and trying to upload that to this remote server. So how do you detect and stop this threat? Well, as I mentioned, you're sort of visiting the website and doing this yourself, which makes it quite difficult. And this is where technology controls really come to the party here. So our Rapid7 SOC alerts and assist customers preventing and remediating against these threats on a daily basis. But some high-level guidance would be to make sure your EDR or endpoint protection tools are set to block execution of PowerShell scripts and malicious downloads from those servers. So making sure they're dialed up to 11 as much as possible. You can also just disable the WinR command, the shortcut from running and popping up that run command completely. It's not usually used and required for people to do their jobs. So disabling this shouldn't have an impact. You can also disable HTA files completely, or the MSHTA application using things like software restriction policies, or even if you want to change the default application to say any HTA files on the computer open with text, something like a notepad, rather than running the application. So we'll just attempt to open a page of gibberish rather than actually running a file. This could potentially break very, very legacy systems, but I've not really seen legitimate uses of this. So these are pretty good controls to have in play. If an infection has occurred, you can use logs to sort of determine the malicious IP it's connecting to and block these. But again, that's usually if it's sort of propagating and potentially going to be running around the place again. But attackers can rotate IPs and domains, so this is not going to be an effective mitigation alone. And similarly, blocking hashes. That's something people do when they find a malicious file, they can block that. But hashes are very easy to change. You can change one single character in that file and the hash is changed. So it can prevent a single instance, but not further breaches. I hope you found this useful, bit of a summary of this fake CAPTCHA threat and a bit of a Lumma Stealer overview, and I'll see you next time.